by Bradford in the Challenge Cup, came back and proved what a handful they could be at Hull KR. And we're expecting and hoping for a close one.
Yeah, we sure are. Tex Hoy gets us underway, and they're going to have to aim up here. There's Alex Walmsley, crashes through and gets his side 15 metres forward. It's important that Castleford Tigers start really well together here tonight. Matty Lee's that new 4-year deal, Stuart. What a delight that is for many Saints fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold. Go to a good line, Liam, well done.
Morgan Knowles for St Helens. Darren Clark, who's a little bit of a doubt in the week, but he's okay to play. Yeah, Saints after, as we said, a couple of training runs in the Cup and also against Salford. Pressure on Wellesby, good pressure, but a decent kick and taken by one of Castleford's young starlets, Fletcher Rooney. A lot expected of him, of course. He's playing full-back with Tex Hoy, the normal #1, playing at scrum half, but Fletcher Rooney is going to be a big talent, I'm sure, in the future.
Yeah, he certainly is. A 19-year-old just signed a 5-year deal here earlier this week, so huge promise from him.
And he's senior, midway inside his own half of the field. Tom Grant is the referee, by the way. James Vella is our video referee. We'll adjudicate on tries and no doubt a captain challenge. I think we had our first successful captain challenge, didn't we, earlier on today, in that victory for Leeds over Salford. Last one then for the Tigers. Rimbu at dummy half. There goes the kick from Dejan Assi, and well taken by Wellesby, who has mixed memories of here. He's scored tries here and he's also picked up the odd injury here. That was Saylor at dummy half for Saints. And again, as Robertson made the break, Tristan Saylor, who many think could be a Super League superstar in 2025, scored those 4 tries against Salford. Here is Morgan Knowles. Good defence again in there by Jeremiah Simbikin. Watch out for him, one of 4 Papua New Guinea stars in this Castleford side, but he's a really good player. Last one again. Here is Wellesby. Little dig forward behind the defence, picked up well by Rooney. Good chase there by Benison and by Percival, and pinned back a yard from his own line, but a good set from Saints.
Yeah, it was a good set, Stuart. A neat little kick there from Wellesby, and good work from marker there by Percival, just to chop them down. It's only 3 carries in, and they're only 10 metres away from their own end. And St Helens, this is the part of the field that they enjoy, aiming up defensively, really restricting their opposition and asking them to kick the ball deep from inside their own half.
Go for George down the mark.
Yeah, it's going to be a big task for Cass. Good run, good clear run. But already, look, this is the last one, just outside their own 20. And the ball will go back for Tex Hoy. It's taken by Kyle Felt, just inside his own half, and this is decent field position.
Yeah, not the best clearing kick there from Tex Hoy. And the net result is that they're inside their own 40 as Percival just tries to get at Hoy again. I noticed in the set before, Tex Hoy had to come up with 2 defensive displays. And they really want to try and target him over on this right edge.
Simbikin again with the tackle. Here is Matty Lees. It's believed Warrington and Catalan, and 2 teams from the NRL, at least 2 sides, were chasing his signature, but he has signed a 4-year deal with St Helens. Big news for Saints 24 hours ago. Wellesby now with a little dig pass. Walmsley was looking for the offload. Last tackle, but they are 10 yards away from the line. Here is Tristan Saylor, little kick over the top, and that's a good kick and chase, and it will be a goal line dropout. It was well taken in the end, but Cass under pressure in the early stages. Not a lot that Zach Seeley could do about that.
No, not a lot about it at all. It was a decent kick again, this time from Tristan Saylor. And Wellesby, Batchelor in there as well to trap Seeley over the try line and force a goal line dropout. Short dropout coming here.
Well, it's a good take though by Kyle Felt. There's been a lot of short dropout attempts during the first couple of weeks of the season. It nearly came off. Here is Lees again for St Helens. Dangerous moments in the early stages of this game. 5 minutes gone. Come to the left-hand side, and Walmsley charging towards the line. Bounced off Liam Horn there. Clark. They go to the right. Lomax and Saylor, and Welsby feeds Robertson, but he's well tackled by Seeley. Brilliant defence by the Australian centre to bring down Robertson. Now it's Saylor once more. Offloads for Walmsley. Good defence this from the Tigers. Again, the last one for Saints. Here is Clark. Welsby feeds Batchelor, and Batchelor finds the gap, and Batchelor finds the first try. Cast defence up until then was so good, but that's what Saints can do. One slip, one mistake, one missed tackle. Try number 1 for St Helens.
Yeah, 2 tries in 2 games for Joe Batchelor. I was just really impressed with the speed at which St Helens have started this game. They came out of the traps pretty quick. And a couple of neat little kicks there, and defensively they're aiming up. And the short dropout doesn't come off. You mentioned we've seen a number of them this season already. And not very many of them have came off, but the net result again on this is a bit of sustained pressure. And a short pass there from Batchelor. Jack Welsby coming up with the assist. Just gets on the inside shoulder of Seaney. And it's 4-0.
Yeah, just one missed tackle, wasn't it? But up until that moment, Cass had defended well. But yeah, Saints really out of the traps at 100 miles an hour, aren't they? Just the start that they would have wanted. Mark Percival, 11 kicks, 26 points in Saints' win over Salford. That record-breaking 82-0 win against the Salford kids, really. Not a great advert for the sport, was it? But what you have to say is that Saints were professional, and Saints were ruthless, and they did what they had to do.
No, they did what they had to do, but they can almost put that game to bed now, as everybody else in the game wants to do. For St Helens, you imagine that this is the message would have been the season starts tonight.
Percival, 15 yards in from that right-hand touchline. Can he turn 4 into 6? The flags go up, and he can indeed. And Saints in the early stages here at the Jungle with a bit of bite and leading 6-0.
Yeah, quality start from St Helens, and that's what you have to do when you come to difficult places like this. You've got to start quick, fast, aggressive, and I thought they did exactly that.
Dejan Asu will get us underway, and Lomax to Walmsley. Alex Walmsley's had his critics, hasn't he? Back end of last season, and people questioning whether his best days are past him. I think he's got a point to prove to other people. There's no doubting his ability. He was awesome against Salford with record yardage, and penalty to Saints. Discipline, isn't it? Can't afford to give away any penalties, can't afford to make any mistakes.
You certainly don't want to be doing that after conceding points. It's so important that you aim up defensively. And they give away a cheap penalty.
Just a late hit, wasn't it? The ball had gone. So what do you reckon on Walmsley? Point to prove this year?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, it didn't go that well for him last year. He struggled really to sort of burst.
He had a lot of injuries, though, didn't he?
I mean, look, hopefully those are behind him now. And at 34 years old, he's got a 2-year deal, so there's still plenty of games left in him.
Yeah. Plenty in the legs, I'm sure. Here is Morgan Knowles, and Welsby finds Saylor. Robertson trying to get away from Seaney, and can't on that far side. But St Helens already 6 to the good, and threatening once more. Morgan Knowles.
On the mat, that's you, play on.
Go to the right once more. That's where Saints are threatening. Saylor with a short pass.
Oh, what a pass.
Felt goes for the corner, and Kyle Felt gets over for another try for St Helens. Brilliant pass on that right side, that left edge cast defence. Kyle Felt has no doubts he scored his second try for Saints. Tom Grant wants to make sure, and James Vella will deliver the verdict.
Stackle 4, live decision of a try. We're checking the touchline and grounding. So Felt is in possession at this point. He's in the field of play. Okay, reaching out and pausing it there. Felt remains in the field of play and grounds the ball in the in goal. I've made my decision.
Thanks for that.
So there you go. That's the easiest call, I'm sure, that James Vella will have tonight. Kyle Felt, of course, brought in to replace Tommy Makinson for St Helens. That's his second try, and he is a good finisher. We saw that over a decade and more when he played for the North Queensland Cowboys, but he made that look very easy.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about this try. A moment of brilliance from Wellesby. The cut-out ball, and Felt, sensational finisher, has proven that all throughout his career. Just check out the pass there from Wellesby, the speed at the catch and pass. A brilliant finish, and again a scintillating start from St Helens, and the Tigers just can't cope at the moment, Stuart.
Came from a mistake, came from an error, came from a penalty given away, Kyle.
Yeah. And points were difficult, weren't they, to come by from St Helens last season, and you know, you just wonder the flip side of that game last week is the confidence of the free-flowing ability to score tries. Well, it's a point a minute at the moment as Percival looks to put two more over. You mentioned last week the 26 points that Mark Percival scored, that put him third on St Helens, his all-time Super League point scoring, taken past Paul Sculthorpe.
What are you on that list? 233rd?
I think I'm negative points.
10-0 St Helens lead, 10 minutes gone. Mark Percival off the touchline. Got the distance, hasn't got the accuracy, so 10-0 it stays, but Saints are just looking super sparkling, aren't they, in these opening 10 minutes? They're looking very dangerous every time they have the ball, and Cass, I think, have just got to settle down now, haven't they, and do what the coach wants them to do, go through the processes and try and stick to the game plan.
Well, they've kicked off twice to Walmsley and now decide to take a look at Matty Lees, and Lees just hits and spins and finds his front. I just think the St Helens forward pack have done the job so well. Look at this for another carry. Walmsley just pinching a few more metres. Morgan Knowles will look to take over using Siren, no doubt.
Yeah, he's made a big start, hasn't he, Alex Walmsley?
I think all the middles have, Stuart.
Liam, you're too deep at marker. Tighten up. Good now, 3.
Batchelor just shy of halfway.
Hold, George, hold.
Saints dominant in the opening stages. Here is Walmsley again. He loves the sport. I spoke to him a month or so ago, and he reckons he has got a point to prove, but he wants to do really well. Great pass again for Robertson. Robertson going all the way, but Seeley was in there with the tackle, and it's going to be a turnover, but Saints chancing their arm on the last there, and Robertson was nearly through.
Yeah, the footwork there from the 19-year-old Harry Robertson on that far edge. Just stands up his centre. And nearly scores a wonderful try. Good defence though from Castleford on that occasion.
What have they got to do, Kyle?
They've just got to get into it, and they've just got to aim up a bit better defensively. The middle of the field has belonged all to the visiting team. They just need to find, I think this is their second set inside the opening 12 minutes that we've seen them with ball in hand.
Yeah, well, they haven't had the ball in hand in the St Helens half, have they?
It's a decent carry from Westerman.
Always a strong carry from Westerman. Ball goes back to Assey. Now Seeley, they'll chance their arm now with Seeley, and kick forward there by Seeley, and it's an easy take for Jack Wellesby.
A decent eyes-up play there from the left side of the field of Castleford.
Here is Benison. Lewis Murphy made his debut against Salford. scored a try and tore his hamstring. They reckon it could be anything between 8 and 12 weeks. And a lot of injuries in the first couple of weeks, hasn't there? Here is Siranin. Tackle made by Sam Wood on halfway, and Texoy and Simbakin again, but quick play the ball, and Percival finds Benison. Benison now, little kick forward. Lomax will go over and score. That is a terrific St Helens try. As quick can be. Brilliant vision in the end by Benison. Lomax ran it superbly. 3 tries in 14 minutes, and Saints lead 14-0.
I mentioned the speed at which they'd started this game. Well, that is a sensational try. And credit has to go there to John Benison and Johnny Lomax for pushing up in support through the middle of the field. The execution of skill here from Wellesby. Again, Percival just releasing his winger. And the kick back through Lomax. That's a really, really good St Helens try.
Wellesby involved again.
Yeah. Just look at the numbers there flooding through. Lomax gets there. And it's 14-0. And they're in a big, big hole at the Tigers, because they've had no answer whatsoever from the travelling Saints side, who are running white hot at the moment.
Cracking try, wasn't it? 3 tries already from Batchelor, Kyle Felt, Johnny Lomax. And the travelling St Helens fans, no wonder they're smiling. Yet to concede a try this season. Yes, we've mentioned they pretty much had easy runs, didn't they, against West Hull. 38-0 in the Challenge Cup, Salford Kids 82-0 in the Super League. But yet to concede a try, they scored 3 already here. And Mark Percival.
I just think the platform that Morgan Knowles, Alex Walmsley and Matty Lees have set has been incredible. And Cass they just haven't been able to cope with it. It's as simple as that. Every single time St Helens have been down this end of the field, they look like scoring points, and that's a worrying sign for Danny Maguire's troops.
Percival 1 out of 2. This from the left-hand touchline.
Just pulls it.
Now, so 3 tries, 1 conversion, and 14-0. The Cass just haven't been able to get a foothold, haven't they? So they haven't had the ball in the Saints' half.
You just really need to stop and win the middle third of the field. As Matty Lees now, he looks to explore and goes right back centre of the field. Liam Horn meets him.
Yeah, Horn in there. Along with George Lawler. Good quick defence. Clark at dummy half. 14-0 St Helens lead. And here's Mark Percival. Westerman with the tackle, along with Simbakin. Walmsley looking busy once more. Hunting the ball, Alex Walmsley. Clark, quick play the ball, and Lomax with a little dummy there.
I think Siren might have been hit off the ball there to get away with that. Sailor, he's going to put it high and into this right-hand corner, testing young Fletcher Rooney.
Yeah, takes it well, watched it well, just kept his eyes on it. It was a chasing St Helens pack, but did well, the young man.
Here comes Lee Kershaw, on loan from Hull KR. Now it's Wood's turn.
Move Kyle back.
Nimbu and Lawler now for the Castleford Tigers. Great display in defeat. Lawler against his former club, Hull KR, on the opening weekend. Here's Westerman now, and Assey with the pass out. Chance for Senior down that left-hand side. Well read and good tackle by Kyle Felt. Cass fans wanted a penalty. Assey goes high, 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 and that's a high-hanging kick. It bounces once, it bounces twice. Play on. Was that a knock-on? Yeah, it'll be a turnover. The Saints will get the ball back. Just a glimmer of hope there for Cass, chancing their arm, and even early on in this game, that's what they have to do.
Yeah, Tex Hoy there just putting that kick high, and he almost lands in no man's land. And then they come up with the mistake off the back of it. Offload here from Percival. Morgan Knowles looks to straighten up.
But they are playing this game at 120 miles an hour, St Helens. Sirenin bursts through the tackle of Tex Hoy. Another quick play of the ball. Here is Walmsley. Saints swarming all over the Castleford Tigers at the moment, and Alex Walmsley having a stormer.
Yeah, he's had a big start tonight.
Clark goes on his own. He's well read by his opposite number, Judah Rimbu. Senior was in there as well. Here is Lomax for St Helens. Long pass out for Benison. Has to come inside. Last tackle. Saints 7 yards away from the try line. Sirenin goes on his own, and he will be held up right on that line. So Cass hold firm this time. 19 minutes on the clock. St Helens leading 14-0.
Yeah, Sirenin just going for the barge over. And Cass Tigers defend it. But just look where they turn the ball over here, Stuart. These are very difficult, tough carries. Fletcher Rooney just tries to have a little crack from 9.
Lees it was with the tackle. Here is Lawler once more. Runs into Clark.
3, move!
Oh, they needed that. Yeah. Joe Batchelor just too long. And of course, giving the penalty away inside Castleford Tigers 20-metre zone is a penalty. And a relieving penalty it is for the Tigers.
Let's see if they can do something with it. Approaching the midway point of the first half at the Jungle.
Yeah, just too long in the tackle.
Saturday night Super League on Sky Sports. Castleford on halfway, trailing 14-0. Simbakin plays the ball. Horn, will be a hooker, playing at 13. Needs must. Assey with the good pass to Seeley. Zach Seeley looking for a way through. St Helens were claiming obstruction. Referee Tom Grant says get on with it. Best field position they've had in the game, Castleford.
Yeah. It's took them 20 minutes to get down this end of the field as Westerman.
2 tackles left in the set. Here is Hoy looking for a way through. Offloads to Kershaw on debut. Kershaw tried to cut through, and he nearly did cut through. Half tackled by Batchelor, wrapped up in the end. Plays the ball. Here is Assey now. Assey, good pass to Seeley. Senior for Senior, and it may well have been a forward pass. Or was it obstruction? The referee saying there was crossing. We can see clearly there, Tom Grant.
Obstruction.
Let's have another look.
With the ball moving out to the left-hand side of the field. You see here when Tex Hoy gets his hands on it. I think it's Mellor who was deemed to have taken a St Helens player out. Harsh.
You see them given, you see them not.
I mean, what will please Paul Wellens is that Senior looks to get over in the corner, and they do a good job in covering. And the penalty's given away. And Walmsley once more just to roll forward.
Move, pull back, George. Hold. Go 1.
Saints have won 6 out of the last 7 against Castleford, including the last 3 on this ground. scoring an average of 35 points a go. They're on course to do that again here at the moment. Here's Percival, though. Hoy makes the tackle. Simbakin in there as well. He's had a good start for Castleford.
Yeah, he's put himself
Papua New Guinea man. Here is Wellesby looking for a way through, and it was Simbakin again who had to get across and make the tackle. Saints midway inside the Cass half of the field. 17.5 minutes to half time, and Sirin in with the offload. Saints claiming there that Percival would tackle without the ball. Play on, last one on the short side for Wellesby, and Saylor puts the kick through, but it was well taken and good positioning. Good full-back play from Fletcher Rooney.
Yeah, right place, right time, just to snuff that threat out. But going back to the play before, Matt Percival is definitely tackled there by Lee Kershaw. It should have been a penalty. Perhaps them even themselves out from that obstruction down the other end of the field. It matters not now. Westerman, Paul playing again.
Well, Castleford actually signed St Helens centre Ben Davis, didn't they? It's a good kick down further. They were looking for a 40-20. Won't reach that. It'll be picked up by Wellesby. Yeah, they signed Ben Davis on initially a 2-week loan. He came on as a substitute, didn't he, in the defeat at Hull KR. I think Saints gave him permission to play tonight, but he just didn't want to play against his teammates. So he was, I think Danny Maguire sent him back to the TW Stadium.
I don't quite get that one. You take your opportunities as a youngster when you've been given them. There's George Delaney replacing Walmsley. He only knows one way, Delaney. Carries hard and direct. Lomax with some shape around him just decides to give it back to Delaney. He'll still have another crack here.
Last one midway inside the Cass half of the field. Clark will find Wellesby. Puts up a kick towards the corner. Pressure on Kershaw, but watched it and took it well. But one of the key things in this game and what we've played 24 minutes is look where Castleford are starting all their sets.
I agree. I think St Helens have ended the sets incredibly well tonight, whether they've either scored points or put them into a corner and really just asked them to go 80, 90 metres up the other end of the field if they're going to get anything. And so far, apart from a relieving penalty, they've found it difficult to get out of their own end. An early kick once again, maybe.
Wellesby across to take it. Under pressure, Jack Wellesby does well. Got away from one. Tries to hand off Senior.
Good chase there from Senior and Mellor.
Makes a lot of sense, though, that play, doesn't it? With Cass having difficulty getting out their own half of the field.
Yeah,
you can see why they're doing it.
Absolutely. Darryl Clark, of course, began his career at Castleford, 94 games across 4 seasons, winning the Man of Steel as well.
He did. Played 4 years here.
Oh, there's a big contact there on Lees.
It's okay. Says the referee, it was a good tackle. Wellesby again gets a high hanging kick away, and it's well taken by Rooney. That was a terrific take by the teenager.
Yeah, sure was. Turned him around as well and able to catch it and return it back. But once again, Cass Tigers find themselves in deja vu.
Griffin and Narmo on, Sylvester Narmo, the 4th Papua New Guinea international playing for Castleford this year. Tex Hoy it was at dummy half, but defensively St Helens have been pretty strong, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done what they need to do. There's Griffin. Releases out the back to Hoy, and there's an opportunity here.
Tex Hoy looking for a way through, scrambling through, but Saylor and Clark make the tackle. Senior is at with a chance down. Favoured the Brave, and it favoured Narmo. Bit of luck here for the Tigers. Here is Simbakin, brought down by Robertson. It was Assey whose kick was chanced down. They've got some space on that left-hand side now. Here is Tex Hoy, knolls across to make the tackle with Kyle Fell. Maybe that's the slice of luck that the Tigers need. What can they do with it here? Picked up by Alex Mellor, as close as they have come to the St Helens line. 27 minutes on the clock. Horn it is. Now Griffin will straighten up. Runs into Clark. And to Delaney. 2 tackles left here for Castleford. Horn! Chance through! And has he got the ball down? Now Simbakin got the ball down for the Tigers. It was a Narmo with a brilliant run. He's only just come on the field, Sylvester Narmo. And Cass think that they got the luck, and it was Narmo who made the initial break, and it's Narmo who could have put them on the board. James Vella, the video ref, will confirm.
It's tackle 4, live decision of a try. We're confirming the grounding. So he's in possession at this point. The ball and the ball carrying arm remain up, reaching out and pausing it there. The ball is grounded on the goal line. I've made my decision.
So there you go, the first try that St Helens have conceded this season. And I said that they might need a little bit of luck. They got a bit of luck with the charge down. The ball bounced into the arms of Sylvester Narmo. Narmo it is who gets the try. Casa back in it, their first try. A kick virtually in front of the post to reduce the deficit to just 8 points.
Yeah, it's exactly what the Tigers needed, and that's what you want from your bench, especially when you've been under the cosh for 20-odd minutes. You need a lift, and the lift came about his ass's kick, charged down by Delaney, and straight into the arms of a Castleford Tiger player. And a few plays later, it's Joe Batchelor who misses his assignment. Narmo steps hard off his left foot. Matty Lee's trying to cover, but the strength of Narmo. 19 minutes off the bench last week, and an important try here tonight.
Well, he's made an impression, hasn't he? Texoy adds the extras. It's 14 points to 6, but sometimes rubber the green, bounce of the ball, bit of luck, and it can change everything.
It certainly can.
It for Castleford.
Yeah, we're now into an 8-point ball game. And St Helens, they started so quick, and they raced away to a 14-0. A couple of missed conversions from Mark Percival and a try from that man there, Sylvester Narmo. Means that we're now on a bit of a game on once again here.
And what it does for confidence and what it does for belief as well.
Well, it wakens the crowd up as well here in the jungle as Kyle Felt restarts us off.
Well, they're back in it, that's for sure. Charge down, and in a way it was all started by Namo and all finished by Namo, so can Cass strike again in the last 10 minutes of the half. Good game, very open, flowing as well, isn't it? Half an hour approaching on the clock. 14 points to 6, St Helens lead, but here's Assey, lovely little sidestep there by Assey. He's got support either side. Dejan Assey, he goes on his own. Why didn't he pass the ball? Saints desperate defending. Here is Senior. Hall gets the ball out to Senior. Senior is brought down and then loses possession. Saints escape, but Dejan Assey there, he had support on his left-hand side and a pass, and it was a try under the post, surely.
Well, Assey just slices straight through, and he has to find a pass. He doesn't, he decides to carry it and wait. And the ball over the top there to win his Senior. He spills it, tries to offload it, hits a ricochet of Tristan Saylor. But my word, if Assey had found a pass, then the Tigers were definitely in again.
Well, let-off, a big let-off for St Helens. Castleford nearly going back-to-back. Ball goes back to Wellesby. They're just glad to clear his own lines, and well taken there by Kershaw, but what was it I said about confidence and belief?
They cut them open down that right side of the field, Saints, and they're pushing through again. There's a bit of trouble in and around Phil Batchelor and Tristan Saylor.
That was Seaney, wasn't it? Much more purpose and aggression behind the Tigers' play now. Here is Griffin. Here is the try scorer, Namo. It could have been so much better. They really should have got a second try. Here is that man, Dejan Assi, looking to break through again. Last tackle. Horn. And it's Hoy who gets the kick away. Well watched, well taken as well. This is much more like it from Castleford.
Yeah, they're growing into this contest. A decent kick. Now they've stopped them 31 minutes to do exactly what their opposition have been doing to them for the majority of the game. Percival now with a trademark direct carry in and behind the ruck.
Yeah, strong run by the St Helens centre. Here is Wellesby, nearly through as well. Mamo with the tackle. Griffin was in there as well. Horn was in there, just inside the Saints half of the field. Delaney takes play over the halfway line. You can see how fast this game's going. It's already the last one. Here is Tristan Saylor. Good take. Really good take again. Impressed by young Rooney, you know.
Yeah, positionally he's been everywhere he needs to be. Taking in every single kick so far that's come his way. As in his senior, just tries to crash into Delaney.
Yeah, in his senior, 17 tries. Only ever present for the Tigers in 2024. There is Kershaw. Been coming looking for the ball, hasn't he, on debut?
He's been busy.
Former Wakefield, former London, on loan from Hull KR. Horn now and Griffin. Clark with the tackle round the ankles. Dejan Assi with the kick and an easy take for Jack Wellesby. Just a little under 7 minutes to go to half time. Morgan Knowles has got a head injury, I think. So Saints forced into making a substitution here. Knowles going off. Keep you posted on that.
I think Ignatius Parsy's going to replace him. His first appearance in 2025. Only 16 games last year for Parsy, of course, after having a year out with that horrific injury he sustained.
Yeah, sustained in the summer of 2023. Challenge Cup semi-final against Lee, wasn't it? Wigfield on again, and here is Passy. Lomax and Wellesby looking for that cut-out pass. Kershaw was trying to read it. Here is Clark again. Clark going off the back of Simbakin.
Oh, he's lost it.
He's lost the ball. Knock on by Castleford, I think the referee's saying. It may well have come off Horn. That's a bit of luck this time for St Helens.
Let's have another look at this. Darryl Clark goes into contact. Yep, right call. Didn't look it from where we are. Sorry. Initially, it looked like Clark loses the ball, but it has been pulled out there by Horn.
As well, the beauty of knowing that there's a captain's challenge if they want it, but there's no way that they were going to use it. It's the tell Cass knew that it came off Horn. So 5 minutes to go in the first half. What a cracking first 40 minutes has been as well. Here is Tristan Saylor. Good tackle from Hoy eventually, and Griffin is in there. Can Saints use this little bit of luck to their advantage as Ignatius Parsy makes a good chance, takes it up to the Castleford 10. Clark again, and short pass for Lomax. Lomax gets away from one, wriggles away from another, and he's stopped right on the try line. Johnny Lomax was inches away. Clark thieves Delaney. Can't get it down.
How deep they are
Two
here to the
tackles
left.
left in the set for Saints. They come to the left-hand side, Lomax and Saylor. Saylor for Bennison. Bennison tried to come inside, but well run again by the Castleford defence. Simbikin was there too. Ball comes back on the last, and Saylor will arrow it towards the corner. Ball goes up in the air. Now, was that off Castleford? Was that off a Castleford player? Or was that off a St Helens player? The referee's saying it came off the Saint first. The Cats survive. Big period of play just before half-time. 14-6 it remains.
Yeah, they do enough defensively there to the Tigers. Tristan Saylor's kick hasn't been able to be taken in, and a mistake means that Castleford start once again deep inside their own half, and it's Griffin now.
Come on, give them credit for the way they come back. They were 14-0 down inside 14 minutes, and they were in danger of being absolutely swept aside, weren't they?
Yeah, just a really quick start from the visitors.
There is Ashley again, and Seeley stopped just inside this St Helens half of the field. Last tackle of this set for the Tigers, and there is Dejan Assi. It's a good high-handed kick again, and it was well watched. Both fullbacks, Jack Wellesby and Fletcher Rooney, have done everything that's been asked of them.
Yeah, neither of them willing to crack yet, taking everything that's came their way. How much would Castleford Tigers love a mistake now from St Helens?
Offload from Passy. Here is Darryl Clark.
Move, pull back, Tex. Hold, Tex, hold. Play on.
It's that man Simbikin, Jeremiah Simbikin, who's been outstanding.
And he's put himself about. He's made plenty of tackles.
Oh, absolutely.
What you want from your back row is that's a good shot there by Horn.
That was Horn on Delaney.
Straight on Delaney.
Straight up he goes. Here is Lomax on the last. Does manage to get the kick away under pressure from Horn. It's taken by Senior. Brilliant game. 2 minutes to half-time. Saints leading 14-6.
Take a look at this. A whack from Horn. And there goes Fletcher Rooney again, and there's going to win his side a penalty. I've been really impressed with Fletcher Rooney. The speed at which he gets out of 9. And a penalty given away for St Helens inside the final 2 minutes. A real opportunity here. I think it's Joe Batchelor, just catches him high.
What a chance then for the Tigers.
It could be
a full
real
set inside the Saints half.
Yeah, a real opportunity here for Danny Maguire and his men here.
They'd come back into it. Oh, after getting a slice of luck, but then the mistake from Namo. The chance has gone. It just takes the fizz out of everything, doesn't it?
No, a real opportunity there for Castleford. But encouraging. The second 20 minutes of this half has been more of an even contest, you'd have to say that.
Absolutely.
But I've no doubt that the coaching staff of Castleford will be scratching their heads at how they just allowed St Helens to come out the block so quick and not expect that that was going to be the case, as Tristan Saylor gives it to Wellesby.
Here is Felt. St Helens have got, you would say, a set as Felt has thrown to the ground. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 Castleford defenders in there initially. It was Seeley who made the final tackle. Delaney, tackled by Namo, tackled by Griffin. Fierce defending from the Castleford Tigers. Lomax now, and Saylor and Wellesby and Percival. Percival's got Bennison. Bennison had to cut inside. There were 3 defenders coming across.
Forward pass.
But it's been called as a forward pass. Cass had it covered anyway.
Yeah, Castleford Tigers do well to scramble because they were stripped. The pass from Percival's deemed to have gone forward, right on the hooter.
Well, there you have it. A fabulous first 40 minutes here at the Jungle. St Helens looked as if they were racing away as they scored 3 tries in the first 14 minutes through Joe Batchelor, Kyle Felt and Johnny Lomax. Just one successful kick from Mark Percival. 14 points to 0, and they were threatening to run away with it, but all the credit in the world to the Castleford Tigers, who dug deep. They had a bit of luck. They picked up the ball from a charge down from Sylvester Namo. He scored the try, and Cass are back in it. At half-time, St Helens lead at the Jungle, 14 points to 6.
You can enjoy every single game live right here on Sky Sports.
And that's a great shot there.
Great tackle! This is getting fiery now. Magic Mikey strikes again.
Individual brilliance from a special player in Bevan French. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be a blockbuster.
Rugby league, truly the greatest sport on the planet.
Well, it's been a brilliant first 40 minutes at the Jungle, and I'm sure it'll be a cracking game on Sunday afternoon at the Leeds Sports Village. The Leopards against the Giants. 2:30 kickoff, and Sky Sports Plus for all the action. We're on air at 25 minutes past 2. We've been pretty good here. Saints were racing away with it with those 3 tries in 14 minutes from Batchelor, Felton, Lomax, but Castleford managed to get a foothold. They had a bit of luck with a charge down and the bounce of the ball, and Namo got the try, and they really should have had another try just before half-time. 14 points to 6. It really is a case of game on, and Kyle Amor, after the first 15 minutes of the game, we didn't think that would be the case, did we?
Yeah, it certainly looked a one-sided contest, and this was the opener. Joe Batchelor just getting past a poor attempt of a tackle there from Assey to get the first, a soft pass there from Wellesby near the line. And that was on 6 minutes, and then within the blink of an eye, they give a penalty away, Castleford, and then this ball from Wellesby. That is a superb pass of the highest quality for Kyle Felt to squeeze over in the corner. And that was 3 minutes after Joe Batchelor's try. And you were right, Stuart, to reference that it was a one-sided contest. Every single time St Helens got down this end of the field, they looked so threatening. And this perhaps was the pick of the try so far. Wellesby onto Percival, who releases Benison. A kick back through, a slight look up. He knows Lomax is there in support. And the skill is executed so well. You just see it here from the opposite angle. And Benison has a little look there, slices it through. And the captain of St Helens is in support to get his second try of season 2025. And then Sylvester Namo with the footwork. Batchelor misses his assignment. Matty Lees tries to cover across, but the strength and the size of Sylvester Namo just means that Castleford get back in it. And then off this kickoff, Assey just slices through again at Tom Batchelor and races away, and he should have passed the ball there. He decides to take it himself, and the next player later in his senior loses the ball, and that would have really put a cat amongst the pigeons in this contest. Well, Castleford have clawed their way back into this contest, Stuart, after a blistering start from the visitors. There's some big contacts in there as well. Young George Delaney on the receiving end of a couple. Liam Horn throwing himself about.
He did well to get up, didn't he, George Delaney? But 14-6 it is. What do you make of those stats after 40 minutes?
Well, yeah, clearly St Helens with their lion's share of possession and a completion of 89%. Well, Castleford they have come back into this. Well, the meters that saying so. Well, I mentioned earlier on in commentary there that the middle of the field has belonged to St Helens, particularly early on. They've just Walmsley, Lees, Knowles, they set the platform. Agnes's passes come on and added a little bit of impact as well, and the Tigers have got it all to do. There's only 8 points in it, so the next score is crucial, Stuart.
Absolutely. Well, there was already been one game on Saturday afternoon and a big win for the Leeds Rhinos, 32 points to 6, their first win against Salford. Let's catch up now with the views of the Salford coach Paul Rowley, but first Leeds Brad Arthur.
Considering the changes, look, we had Gano was on the left half, then he went to the right half. You know, like Keenan had to play 65 minutes straight. You know, Cameron Smith going off, so for a while there, we were playing with one half, and you know, Cameron's pretty important in the middle third of the field just with his interchange of pass. So we you know, the boys had to adapt on the run and just play simple and just get the job done, and that's what they did.
This has been, I guess, you know, a good introduction. This is the start of our season, so we'll be stiff for a few days now. We've not done any favours with the short turnaround to OKR on a Thursday night, but we're glad to get started. We've got no complaints with today. Leeds were by far the better side. Like I said before, they won the physical battle and completed Barry, and it's as simple as that for the start of the season in particular. That's what's been winning games for teams. So congratulations to them. For our boys, we're just glad to be getting up and running and talking to you guys just about rugby.
Well, disappointed Paul Rowley. Big win for the Leeds Rhinos, and a big second half on the way here at the Jungle. St Helens leading by 14 points to 6, and that second half is next.
Greatest sporting events in the world of rugby league.
It's getting fiery here. Big moment, and they're in.
Away he goes. He's brilliant.
Sensational try for the corner. Can you believe it?
You do not go anywhere. Strap yourself in.
Well, what a day that should be. All live on Sky Sports. They reckon that there could be 10,000 fans from the UK. Wigan Warrington, Canberra against the Warriors, and then the Women's International, of course, between Australia and England, and finished off by Penrith against Cronulla. But the Warriors against the Wolves to kick it all off in Vegas next weekend. So ready to go in the second half. Saints pegged back after looking like they were going to run away with it. 40 minutes to go. Saints leading 14-6, but I'm pretty sure a lot of twists and turns to come, Kyle Amel.
It certainly is. Castleford finished that half pretty bright. The challenge is, you know, for St Helens, they just again, they were so quick out the blocks, and the Tigers just almost gifted them 3 tries before they finally realised that they were in a game.
Move, pull back.
I think the first 10 minutes are going to be crucial. That's where Saints really got going at 100 miles an hour. But a big blow for St Helens. News coming from the Saints dressing room that Morgan Knowles has failed his HIA, so he'll play no further part, Knowles, in this game, and of course it means he'll also miss next weekend's match away at Wakefield. That's a big blow for the Saints lining up in this second half.
Morgan Knowles often does so much good work through the middle of the field. When you fail in the HIA, you're right to miss out next week, as Assey just puts that kick down to Jack Welsby. A bit of a laboured chase, and Welsby's able just to pick his place to run.
What have Cass got to do? More aggression, do you think? Certainly in defence when Saints have the ball.
Yeah, I think they've just got to start at least competing 50-50 in that middle channel. They were rolled in the opening 20 minutes. And they found their way back, but they've also as well, when they get opportunities, Stuart, they have to take them. They bombed what would have been a certain try. And Lomax, he dances back through the middle.
There is Johnny Lomax, one of the try scorers.
Oh, another big shot on Horn on Delaney again.
Take two, Horn on Delaney, but he managed to hold on to the ball. Here is Wellesby, little short pass for Siranin out on that far side, midway inside the Cass half of the field. Last one, another huge hit there by Liam Horn. Comes back to Johnny Lomax. Up goes the kick, Rooney, and it's taken well by Saylor. Saylor puts a little kick forward, and it's pounced on there by Kershaw. Well, how on earth did he get that kick away? Tristan Saylor, all the tricks in the trade. Even Kyle Amor looks puzzled. That was an outstanding little kick from Tristan Saylor, and Kershaw to the rescue.
It almost looks like he back heels this, Stuart. Oh, he does.
Did.
Oh, wow. Oh, my word, if that had came off, that would have been special from Saylor.
That would have been one of the tries. Get that on the highlights reel. What a kick from Tristan Saylor.
And credit to Lee Kershaw as well for chasing it down and having his head in the play.
Well, he read it well, didn't he, under pressure from Benison. Here is Delaney again. Where is Horn? This time he leaves it to his colleagues, Westerman in there and Griffin. Ball inside for Ignatius Parsi for Saints.
And they've got good shape here.
Are they looking ominous again at the start of the second half, as they did at the start of the first? Saylor, here is Robertson, gets away from the challenge of Senior. There's a high tackle there by Sini on Harry Robertson.
It's a needless one as well from Zach Sini. Harry Robertson just catches one high and brushes over the top of his head, and this is their third set now. Castleford, they're having to defend. Parsi, he looks to find centre field. They're 10 away.
Yeah, important, very important moments at the start of the second half. Saints with their tails up. Can they convert it into points as Saylor feeds back to her? Clark at dummy half, and Wellesby now for Ignatius Parsi.
Nice offload.
Yeah, good offload there. Here is Clark now, and Purcell on the far side, but well run again by the Tigers' defence. Sam Wood, the captain, makes the tackle. Lomax and Delaney. Griffin this time with the tackle. Terrific defence so far in this set from Castleford. They've got two tackles to survive. Lomax with a short pass. Siranin tried to get the ball back, and he passed it simply into the arms of Jeremiah Simbakin. Brilliant Castleford defence. Saints denied again.
Yeah, huge tackle there from Tex Hoy on the big left edge back rower in Curtis Siranin. An important tackle it was. And Cass survived 3 sets in a row.
Release the ball.
Brave defence from the Castleford
Oh, here's
Tigers.
a decent run.
Horn does well.
Release him. Hold.
For me, he's just so much better, isn't he? Playing that hooking role rather than loose forward. That was Hoy, and Griffin brought down on halfway. Here is Assey.
I do like the look of Assey. He's shown up well tonight.
Wellesby for St Helens. Runs into Westerman.
Move! On the mark! Hold.
Joe Westerman, his 18th season, and a big shift from him. 84 minutes, all of the 84 minutes last week at 35 years old. Joe Westerman still putting it about.
Career game number 439.
Yeah, it's impressive. Darryl Clark using Parsi once more. Looking for the offload.
Wrapped up it was by Namo. Clark again. Clark goes through. Clark's got support from Lomax. Lomax, he was tip tackled by that man Simbakin. Simbakin. What a tackle from Simbakin. He has been outstanding, and he saved a certain try.
Oh, he's there again, Stuart.
But they get the ball back. It was played at, and the referee is going to say it's a penalty to St Helens. But what a tackle from Simbakin. It was an ankle tap, but Lomax was under the post.
Yeah, it was Darrell Clark with a trademark run straight in behind the markers, and Johnny Lomax is just ankle tapped by Simbakin, and they're going to have to defend another set here on the line. This time it's Wingfield.
What a tackle. First time I've seen Simbakin. Mightily impressed. Here is Lomax and Sailor. Robertson wrapped up by Seaney. Castleford's defence at the start of this second half has been 5-star.
Oh, that is a good ball there from Delaney. Wingfield pushing up.
But who made the tackle? It was Simbakin again. Clark for Passy, and they won't stop. Ignatius Passy from that range. The pressure finally tells. Brave defence from Castleford in the first 7 minutes of this second half. But Passy from 2 yards out, you ain't stopping him. And Saints get that all-important first try at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it's just too much defence for the Tigers, and in the end the dam bursts. It was Darrell Clark, the set earlier, who cuts them open. And then a beautiful combination. Here's Clark's run. The support from Lomax, the ankle tap there from Simbakin. And then the lovely interplay there between the youngsters in Delaney and Wingfield. And then the next play, Passy just too big and strong. You just see a short ball here from Darrell Clark. And it's Griffin who just goes low on a big man. And you just can't do that. Not with no more land behind you. And Passy, delighted on his first appearance for Saints of season 2025, and he registers a try. And he's earned that, you have to say. He's carried the ball a number of times already in this second half and promoting it as well. And he gets 4 points for his side.
Well, Jeremiah Simbakin's my new favourite player in Super League. Fantastic performance.
It's like there was three of them on.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, he's been outstanding.
Well, he's put himself about.
Percival then to extend Saints' lead back to 14 points.
I mean, it's efforts like that. Danny Maguire, he won't be pleased with how Darrell Clark was able to cut them open, but he will be pleased with efforts like Simbakin's. Not only that, he's then on the next play. He jumps on that loose ball. But in the end, it was just wave after wave and constant pressure from Saints. And ultimately has registered another score.
So 20 points to 6. St Helens lead approaching 10 minutes gone in the second half, and taken by Benison right by the corner flag. So the new St Helens coaching triumvirate. Paul Wellens assisted by the legend that is Lee Breers and Eamon O'Carroll have been brought onto the coaching staff this season.
Look, I mean, there's only 2 games gone, but you can certainly see that St Helens, they look a lot better with ball in hand. And lots of different variety. They struggled a bit last year. Obviously, he had a lot of injuries, don't get me wrong, but there was times where they just lacked any kind of real threat. And Passy, what a run that is.
Last one. Wellesby with a kick inside, and Rooney goes up for it. It's tapped back and picked up by Sirinen. And the ball eventually came off a Castleford player. That's 0, so Saints will get the ball back. Here is Passy on the charge again. Ignatius Passy for St Helens. They got a little bit of luck, didn't they, with a bounce of the ball there. Can they cash in on that with Jack Wellesby now? Wellesby on the charge is Percival, looking to offload. Has to keep hold of it.
Well, they're under the pump here, the Tigers, once again. We're 5 metres away of the Saints. Out the back door, it comes Lomax. They've got numbers here.
Ball tapped by Robertson, play on, throws the dummy, Harry Robertson, and goes and scores close to the post, and Saints go back to back. Harry Robertson with his third try of the season, and Saints starting the second half on fire, just as they started the first, but they got a bit of luck this time with the bouncing ball on the last, but what a bit of skill from that young man, Harry Robertson.
Yeah, he showed great patience there. He sees the left edge of Castleford sliding off. A little flick on there from Saylor. He just sees there Sini and RC just sliding off, and he's able to register another score. That's his, well, you're right to mention, third try now in Super League and one in the Cup as well. That's 4 tries in 3 games, and this kid just cannot stop scoring.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Paul Wellens had a call to make at the start of the season. Does he play Harry Robertson, or does he stick with the experience of Conrad Hurrell? Robertson was given the nod. Conrad Hurrell is now a squad player, and he's gone out, hasn't he, on dual reg to play for Halifax in the Championship. But Wellens, I think, was determined to back Robertson this season and to give him the opportunity.
That's what St Helens have done now for a number of decades, is promote from within and give youth opportunity. And when you're a player of his quality, we saw it over the back end of last season. Every time he played, he showed glimpses, didn't he? And he's certainly benefiting from this little run so far. Again, 4 tries in 3 games, you can't knock that.
When he was playing for the academy in the reserves, he was playing at standoff. Before Saints played away at London last season, he was playing in the academy game. We were doing it, weren't we? I think he scored 6 tries, and Saints took him off.
Have to take him off, yeah.
And he played full-back last season when Jack Wellsby tore his hamstring. But in the centres, scores a try, Percival adds the extras, and Saints now lead by 26 points to 6.
Yeah, neat try from the 19-year-old Harry Robertson, but it was the running of Parsi. Devastating he's been since he's been on this field, and then the skill on the end of it. A bit of a loose ball there. Saylor looks to tap it on, but it lands in the arms of Robertson, who does the rest, and boy, he has work to do. And delighted in front of those Saints travelling fans.
We mentioned St Helens tying up the services of Matty Lees. They've also tied up the services of a few of their young talents as well. Robertson and Delaney and Noah Stevens. George Whitby, a young scrum half, who will play a part this season, I'm sure. But they started the match scoring 3 tries in 14 minutes, and they started the second half with 2 tries in 11 minutes. And it's a long way back, you feel, now for the Castleford Tigers. Here is Jake Wingfield.
Yeah, it looks a daunting task, doesn't it, for the Tigers in 27 minutes left, and they're chasing 20 points. Saylor, he's tackled there. Sylvester Namo.
Yeah. On the last, Wellsby under pressure from Mellor.
Oh, he never looked comfortable.
It never looked likely, did it?
No.
He was racing onto the ball. It was a teasing, hanging kick by Jack Wellsby, who's congratulated by his teammates, but he fatal hesitation, I think, from Lee Kershaw.
Yeah, he just never looked comfortable from the moment he left his boot. He was racing towards it. He spills the ball, and Saints, well, 25 metres away, centre field in this scrum. And I'm just wondering whether they're going to show a bit of ruthlessness here and register some more points in this set. They come down the left-hand side through Wellsby.
Wellsby and Percival now will cut inside. Can he stay in the field of play, though? No, he can't.
Well, that's better from the Tigers.
Terrific aggressive defence, and that might just give them the lift that they wanted. That was the first tackle for St Helens.
Yeah, Percival just try and find the floor here. Kershaw backs off, takes Hoy in there, and it's that man Simbakin who just catches Percival, shows great strength, and the reinforcements come in and drag him over the sideline to deny that threat.
Mark is tight! Tight up! Let's go!
Simbikin actually coming from playing in the Queensland Cup.
Yeah.
In Australia.
Hold! Release Mackie George! Oh, don't push forward, that is good.
The Tigers have found a good one.
Move back!
55 minutes on the clock. St Helens leading by 26 points to 6. And Cass are going to have to chance their arm, Kyle.
Yeah, they're going to have to roll the dice at some point, because they are chasing the scoreboard.
Hurry! Tighten
As
marker!
Arcee just drops Lawler back off, who tries to get in between
Hold!
Wingfield and
Please,
Robertson.
hurry! Square marker!
Oh, it's Delaney, I beg your pardon. Horn. On to Arcee.
Yeah.
Hoy.
Hoy and Arcee have looked dangerous with ball in hand.
Get back left, Mark! Johnny!
Can't help but feel that break from Dejan Arcee just before half-time when he didn't pass the ball might turn out to be important. That's a great kick by Arcee, and what a good take. Wellesby even has time to offload the ball there to John Bennison, who makes a good 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself this evening, Jack Wellesby. A couple of assists to his name. And Kyle Fell looks to take over. And now Walmsley back on. A stellar performance from him in the first half.
Move, get back left! Pull!
A special mention as well to Ignatius Parsi, who I thought has certainly lifted St Helens. Delaney there wins his side a penalty.
Penalty, that's all. There was no intent. Dejan Arcee.
It's been pretty similar to the first half in terms of our head is being constantly turned to the right, as Saints have just looked to pound this Castleford Tigers line.
Sailor. Lomax and Alex Walmsley.
Move, pull back middle!
Is answering his critics tonight is Alex Walmsley. Here is Delaney.
Move, back foot!
Was he Mustafa with the tackle? Clark right in front of the post. Wellesby and Percival twisting and turning and trying to stretch over that line. Pushed back by Tex Hoy. Wellesby. Here is Wingfield. Play on. Here is Clark now. Clark looking for a way through, looking to offload. Does offload. Walmsley for the line. And Alex Walmsley thinks he's got the ball down.
I think he has.
But did he lose control in the act of scoring? Well, Tom Graham isn't sure. He thinks Walmsley grounded the ball, which would be just reward, I guess. But James Vella will reveal all.
We do lose sight of the hand there, so we're just going to look at all available angles. You see the ball on the ground. We're just going to look from behind just to determine whether the hand stays on the ball. Okay, so we lose sight of the hand there. Based on the live decision of try, there's insufficient evidence to overturn. I've made my decision.
He was given as a try on the field by Tom Grant. The video referee, James Vella, you could hear here there was not enough evidence to overturn the on-field decision. Kyle Amor gave it as a try straight away, but Alex Walmsley does get his just rewards, Kyle.
Yeah, he gets a try, does the big front rower. It was all off the back of some loose defending from the Tigers, unable to win that contact and take bodies to floor. The ball was promoted a number of times in offloads, and eventually it's Darryl Clark who can't be put down. And the pass to Walmsley, who has a little bit of work to do. You can just see here Wingfield then pops the ball out first, and then there's some loose defending from Clark. There's opportunities to get caught there, and it's Wingfield, and Walmsley has a little bit to do, gets rid of Sini pretty comfortably, and then stretches out and puts the ball down, and that means Saints hit the 30 in Mark Percival's kick to come.
So Saints with 3 tries in 14 minutes at the start of the first half, 3 tries in 18 minutes at the start of the second half. 14-6 at half-time has very quickly become 32 points to 6.
Yeah, carbon copy. A number of different try scorers. Batchelor, Fell, Lomax, Walmsley getting in on there as well.
Hour gone. Saints just very much the better team for the most part, but it's the start of each half where they've taken control of the game, I guess.
Look, I'll go back to the start of the game where, you know, it's important when you come to places like Castleford, in fact in any ground away in the Super League, you have to set a platform, and I just thought the way that Walmsley, Matty Lees, Morgan Knowles, and the nice ball back through the middle there, Jack Wellsby
looking to offload, Saints wanting more. Here is Tristan Saylor. Inside for Robertson, who sees a gap. Harry Robertson runs into Seeney. Good tackle from the Australian centre, had to be as well.
Yeah, they're falling off tackles at will at Castleford.
Short side with Tristan Saylor. Batchelor, good tackle by Dejan Assi. Play on the last. Saylor, it is, with a teasing high kick. Who's going to come up with it? Well, it bounced off a Saints player. It's picked up by Muzzy Mustafa, and this is some relief now for Castleford.
Well, you say relief, Stuart, but once again, they're coming off their own line. Tristan Saylor's kick. Mark Percival's inability to take it in. It bounces off his head, and Castleford, they're looking up to the other end of the field, and it seems an eternity away.
Limbu. Judah Rimbu is back on.
Good shot there.
Yeah, nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go, was there?
Well, Stu, I was over at Hull last night watching the Wigan Warriors dismantle Hull FC. And they scored a number of quality tries, and I think St Helens have produced a very similar display here. It's no easy task coming to the jungle and registering 32 points with 20 minutes left to play.
That was Tex Hoy with the high kick. Goes back off Benison. Here is John Benison. We mentioned that Saints have averaged 35 points a game against Cass the last 3 times they've been here. On course to do it again. Matty Lees back on for St Helens.
Looks like Jake Wingfield has dropped in to 9 with Darryl Clark taking a breather. Wellsby from 40 metres away.
Kershaw watching it very carefully this time. We've seen flashes though, haven't we, from Cass? We've seen just little bits which will give some encouragement, I guess, to Danny Maguire, but the start of each half is where the game has been fairly and squarely won and lost.
Yeah, I mean, Castleford found a way back into it. It was that kick pressure from George Delaney, so they got a little bit of luck, and then obviously Sylvester Namo had a little bit to do for his try. But
Good
other
little
than
run
that,
from Rimbu from dummy half, just shy of halfway. 2 tackles left in the set. Alex Mellor. Tackle. Rooney, who finds Assi again, who goes very high with the kick, and Benison lets it bounce. Still the last one, but still a chance here of Tex Hoy. Can he offload the ball? He does somehow. Picked up by Rimbu, still the last. Long, high, hanging pass for Sini. Sini can't get the ball away. It was good defence anyway.
Yeah, it was great work from Joe Batchelor.
Yeah,
really was. Just kept his legs moving. And when Sini gets that ball, he just works and changes speed. Just watch it here. He comes across as the back rower. And the pressure that he put Zach Sini under means that ball just goes rolling over the sideline. And John Bennison, the height on the kick from Arce just made Bennison really uncomfortable. He lets the ball bounce. He's got Joe Batchelor to thank for saving his blushes.
Move, George! Hold in, don't go away.
15 minutes to go at the Jungle. Here is Walmsley once more for St Helens.
Move back! Sylvester, clear the ruck.
Delaney on the charge, just short of halfway. Wingfield feeds Saylor. And now a chance maybe for Robertson and Kyle Felt.
Surrender! Stand back!
Saylor and Lees.
5! Move, Liam, get back!
Last one. They come the short side with Saylor and Wellesby, and there's room here for
beautiful.
Robertson. What a pass from Jack Wellesby. He held it up for a second, and that's all it took. What a pass, and Robertson gets his second, and Saints get their 7th, and they now lead by 36 points to 6.
Well, I said this kid can't stop scoring. He's at it again, Stuart. But take a bow, Jack Wellesby. A moment of brilliance, a flash of genius. Just look at how he just holds this pass. Holds it there and then lets it go at the right time, and a beautiful line there from Harry Robertson, showing real smarts, just a fade on the right moment, and that is brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Jack Wellesby.
He's been involved.
He's had his handprints over everything.
Yeah, in a lot of what Saints have done tonight.
I think that's his 3rd try assist that I make it this evening, but that one was special. It doesn't look a lot, but it's a very, very difficult skill, that. It's the timing and the smarts to know when to release it. You almost will have an eye on the defence in front of you and know that when to release that ball, and credit to Robertson, who fades at the right moment and just cuts through the left edge of Castleford Tigers. And they look like they're getting the mojo back. St Helens, we're only 2 rounds in, don't get me wrong, but it's always good when you're scoring for fun.
Well, we mentioned briefly at the start, didn't we? I mean, they've had 2 basic training runs, and they didn't have a full side out against West Hull in the Challenge Cup, and we sort of wondered what St Helens were going to see. They've answered, and they've answered loudly, that they mean business again this year, I think, after a disappointing 2024. Percival off the touchline. Can he add the extras? Just goes to the left of the sticks. 13 minutes to go. St Helens leading 36-6. Wellesby and Robertson.
Yeah, Wellesby there with the key, just to unpick that defence. And Robertson registers his 5th try inside of 3 games. Back-to-back doubles for the youngster. And that looks like it's... Oh, I thought he was going to go out on the full there. With Delaney. Tears back into Castleford once more.
Quicker in the rock, George! Don't readjust!
Last 10 minutes of the first half. Cass gave us all reason to hope, didn't they, for a close game. They stepped up.
Muzzy Mustafa there too long on Walmsley.
It was interesting that Tom Grant, the ref, was saying, "I'll let that one go down there," so he'd been warned.
Come on, lads.
Again, St Helens, without having to exert any energy whatsoever, are going to find themselves very, very quickly inside their opposition half. And it'll be Cass who'll be defending the most difficult part of the field in a couple of players' time. from inside their own 20. Walmsley just rumbles forward once more. He must have had a number. He's got to be in double figures now for carries.
Yeah, absolutely. And he makes big yards, doesn't he? And he's now at dummy half. Here's Alex Walmsley, and he's off again. Mustafa with the tackle.
He was never going to pass there, was he?
No. Lomax will pass though, so will Welsby, and Batchelor takes the ball.
Pass was on out the back there for Welsby.
11 yards away from the try line. Welsby puts a little kick through, and it bounces safely in the end into the arms of Mustafa, right in front of their own post. We've got 11 minutes to go, 36 points to 6.
But again, Stuart, look, you know what I'm going to say, where they turned the ball over once more. And that'll be really pleasing for Paul Wellens. Yes, they are trying to score points, but they're happy just to roll the ball back and say, there you go, Castleford. Let's see what you've got. Because the way that this Saints side are defending, they don't look like cracking, do they?
Well, you know better than me what coaches are like. The fact they've only conceded 6 points will be the A star, won't it, in the performance?
Yeah, Paul Wellens will be delighted with that. And they've got a couple of tough tests coming up. Wakefield away, of course, back in the Super League.
Yep, Wakefield away, Hull KR at home. Got the Challenge Cup game coming up, of course, against Leeds. Calfelt. Into the last 10 minutes at the Jungle. It was 14 points to 6 at half-time. St Helens have controlled things.
Here comes Passy back onto the field. I thought he was sensational. And he's off here again for another big run. And he's well met on that occasion.
In 5 minutes or so, Kyle Amor will choose his Betfred player of the match. I'm sure there's one or two contenders. Lomax. Here is Welsby with the pass again, and picked up by Percival on the far side. Matty Lees. Good tackle it was by Kershaw. Wood was in there as well. Welsby on the last feeds. Lomax, who gets the ball, kicked forward, and picked up well by Rooney. Cass survive. But I can't remember in this second half Cass coming anywhere near to scoring, Kyle.
No, I mean, I can only count, I think it's 2 sets in the whole game that's where I think the Castleford have had any sort of decent ball near St Helens' line. They've been really, really good tonight of Saints. And again, you know, without putting myself on repeat, I'm going to put that down to the middle unit of St Helens, particularly how they started the game and then the lift from the bench. They've really just dominated that middle. And when you do that, you give yourself every opportunity to win a game, but there's a chance here.
Move here. Beat the tackle of Robertson, does Rooney. Rooney's got support if he needs it. Tries to take on Welsby on the outside, but brilliant. Jack Welsby, fabulous fullback play on his opposite number. And what a performance it's been for the St Helens number 1.
Yeah, he was patient. And Castleford, they moved the ball from right to left and they strip Saints, and it's a good run from the young fullback. Well, you can just see he wants to throw that ball and he tries to go around Welsby, who's having none of it, and just throws him over the sideline. A couple of decent efforts as well. I think Walmsley chasing back. Batchelor in there, just making sure that that pass on the inside for Fletcher Rooney is just non-existent, and he's forced into trying to get round Welsby. He shows great strength just to throw him over.
Seven and a half minutes to go. Saturday night Super League at the Jungle, and it's going to be Super Saints who will be celebrating. Early days, of course. 2 wins out of 2. They're top of a developing Super League table.
Yeah, that's all it's all about at this stage of the season. It's just registering those 2 points on the board, and it doesn't matter how or whichever way you get them. I always think that when you get towards the end of the season, nobody really ever remembers the early rounds.
Passing on the last for St Helens, just inside the Cass half of the field. Wellesby again involved in everything. High kick towards his opposite number. Saints were claiming one of their players was...
Yeah, I think it was Tristan Saylor who falls. I didn't quite see what happened.
In back play. Play on, says the ref. Had a good game, Tom Grant.
Move! Hold out, hold!
Always a good sign when you don't talk about the referee during a game, Kyle.
Yeah, sure it is. End of the day, we just want to talk about the players who were putting on the product.
Spot on. 6 minutes to go, 36 points to 6. Griffin.
Move them, Bally! Hold! Matt Whitley not square!
Simberkin gets up and plays.
Good now, Matt!
Hoy in the charge, and well, the ball was passed forward, and back it goes to Matty Lees. Well, there was some hope there from Narmo. He looked like getting through. It was a good tackle by Baxter in back play, but Wellesby now looking for the try that his performance will deserve. Jack Wellesby has had a wonder day, and he rounds it all off with a wonder try. Wellesby with a fabulous score to round it all off for St Helens. They hit 40 points to 6. And it's that man, Jack Wellesby.
Yeah, he's been the best player on the field here this evening. And provider turned scorer. That's his first try since the Derby defeat over at Wigan in July. And Jack Wellesby, he has to wait a long time, and look at the work that he does here. There's 3 opportunities there. Castleford will be disappointed with that. We'll take nothing away from Jack Wellesby. He has been electric tonight.
Brilliant score. Well, before the conversion, I think there's been some great performances. I guess from the St Helens side, there's been a couple of outstanding efforts on the Cass side, but I think there's only one man that you're going to pick for Betfred player of the match.
Yeah, it's Jack Wellesby for me, Stuart. 3 try assists and a try. He's just been quality at the back as well, and so often just provides the final piece of threat for Paul Wallens' team. And he's been sensational this evening. Having said that, special mention again goes to the forward pack of St Helens. They've been, of course, I've no doubt when you mentioned when you asked Jack Wellesby, he will mention his forwards here tonight. But he's just been that touch of magic, that spark that St Helens have needed.
Yeah, honourable mentions in the Cass side for Jeremiah Simberkin.
A new favourite, that, Stuart.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's been outstanding in a losing cause.
No, he's tried his best.
Yeah.
Just needed.
Percival, can he add the extras? He can, and Saints lead by 42 points to 6.
It was the offload from Sylvester Namo that fell into Matty Lees, and then it was Jack Wellesby who was just able to get rid of Namo and Sini and have enough footwork about him to get over in front of those travelling supporting fans of St Helens, who came out in the numbers tonight, Stuart, it has to be said. As Assey restarts us off here. Parsi off the back fence now, big contact coming here.
Parsi and Lees and Walmsley have laid that platform, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they've all been exceptional tonight. And another penalty given away here. I think that's 3 or 4 yardage penalties that Castleford have given away over the course of the 80 minutes. And that's something that they're going to have to tidy up moving forward. I think Saints will be hungry for more here, Stuart. There's only 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
Smell blood.
5 tries already in this second half for St Helens. I suppose the one bad bit of news, if you are just tuning in, for St Helens, Morgan Knowles has failed his injury assessment, so he will miss next weekend's trip to Wakefield. That's for the future. In the present, Saints looking for another try. The Percival was nearly away there. Good tackle from Kershaw, just wrapping him so he couldn't get the ball out of the tackle. On the short side, it's Welsby once more. Looking for willing runners, and of course he finds one in Alex Walmsley. 2 tackles for Saints to get another try maybe. Welsby again, pass out for Saylor. Saylor for Felt. Felt cuts inside, looking to perhaps score his second try.
Move, back foot.
2 minutes to go.
Hold. No five.
Ball is with Welsby. Little kick through behind the line, and Tex Hoy had to tap the ball behind. He didn't know what was coming up behind him, so
you could hear 5 St Helens players chasing him down, and he just thinks, not for me. Bat it over the sideline, kill the threat. They're going to have 6 more players to defend before this game is over.
He may go short trying to get the ball back, but it was well read by Kyle Felt. Here is Welsby once more. Finds Bennison. Good little run from John Bennison. Just over a minute for St Helens to get another. Parsi. Good tackle.
Find me. Hold.
Griffin's done well. He's been busy for Cass since coming on. Lomax, long pass out for Bennison, who'll go in at the corner. And who was the man with the pass? Jack Welsby.
Jack Welsby, yeah.
What a performance, and what a win it's going to be for St Helens. Bennison gets another. They scored 6 tries in the second half, and in the end for Saints, it's turned into a rout.
Jack Welsby is one of the best in the competition at finding that cut-out ball to his winger. A catch and pass. That speed releases John Bennison over into the corner. Lomax out the back, Bennison under pressure. Sorry, Welsby under pressure from Sam Wood. Just see here, Sam Wood comes for him, and that ball over the top is a thing of joy to watch.
Well, there is the hooter. So the conversion attempt will be the last act of what's been the perfect play as far as St Helens are concerned. They led 14-0. Cass had a really good patch just before half-time. They got a try back. But in the second half, St Helens have put down a marker.
Yeah, they've been ruthless tonight. I think the whole Paul Wellens will be really pleased with all aspects of his side's performance. Both defensively been very good, but with ball in hand they've been crisp, they've been sharp, and they've been able to register a flurry of points again. As Percival, who's had a bit of difficulty with the boot tonight.
Yeah,
lots of difficult kicks as well, hasn't he? So this one,
46-6. Our Saints going to add 2 more. Off the touchline from Percival. It just goes to the right of the post. But it matters not. St Helens make it 2 out of 2. They put 82 points on a Salford side packed full of reserves and juniors, but they put down a marker tonight. They scored 9 tries in beating Castleford by 46 points to 6, and it